mirror within reflecting. Vaguely seen figures dancing in your inner peripheral. Facing your past, you must face yourself. You are not passengers on this wild ride called life. Feelings of hopeless and helplessness. No control, yet under another's control. There is power inside you. Turn inward and enter you. Not into the news feed, not into the endless scroll of other people's highlight reels, but into that quiet, often avoided hallway inside yourself. The one with the locked doors. Most hide it with the illusion of being unseen, yet you know it still exists, don't you? Because behind those doors, trauma, past hurts, shadows cleverly tucked away, you have. Thinking if you don't look, they can't see you. Yet somehow you know that they can. Trick. What you bury buries you. Trauma's causes can be so different in people's individual experience of it. Yet the same to all in its effects. It's weird in a funny way. Not funny, haha. Funny in the way a locked box in the attic is funny. You know something's inside, you just don't want to open it. Trauma isn't always a headline tragedy. Sometimes it's subtle, the cutting remark that never left, the parent who was present in body but absent in warmth, the breakup that carved a canyon through your chest. What do you do with it? You bury it. You plaster over it with busyness, success, humor, denial. You wear masks so convincing that even you sometimes forget what's underneath. But here's the trick. What you bury buries you back. Trauma doesn't disappear, it disguises. Blends in. Becomes a burdensome companion. It seeps into how you love, how you fight, how you trust, how you hide. You think you're ignoring it, but it's quietly steering the ship. Another unseen puppeteer. Like fear. Ever wonder why you react so strongly to something small? Someone cuts you off in traffic and suddenly you're a medieval knight thirsting for blood. A partner forgets to text back and you spiral into worst-case scenarios. Trauma is like an app running silently in the background, eating up your battery. You can't see it, but you feel it in the exhaustion, the patterns you repeat, the relationships you sabotage. It's the unseen puppeteer, and the only way to cut its strings is to turn around and face it. The fear of looking inward. But let's be honest, most of you never do. Why? Because self-reflection is terrifying. Looking inside yourself feels like sticking a needle in your eye. Most people have never done it, but yet they somehow know it will hurt. The fear isn't just of remembering the pain, it's of reliving it. Of cracking open wounds you worked so hard to bandage. And yet, avoiding it is like walking around with a splinter buried deep. It doesn't vanish. It festers. Here's the paradox. Healing doesn't come from avoiding the dark. It comes from turning on the flashlight and saying, "All right, monsters, let's see what you've got." The mirror within. Looking inward is not about blame. It's not pointing at your younger self and saying, "Why didn't you handle it better?" That's like yelling at a child for not knowing calculus. Trauma freezes part of you in time. The work of reflection is thawing that frozen self. Sitting with them. Listening. Asking, what did you need? What did you never get? What story are you still carrying that isn't true anymore? Psychologists call this integration. Poets might call it befriending your ghosts. Either way, it's the same process. You go into the dark room, sit with the younger you, and say, "I see you. I hear you. I'm not leaving." How the past shapes the present. Think of trauma like a pair of glasses you forgot you were wearing. Every relationship, every decision, every risk you do or don't take is tinted by those lenses. The kid who grew up ignored. As an adult, They chase validation feeling like they need it like oxygen. The one who grew up in chaos. They crave control, sometimes at the cost of joy. The one who was shamed for showing emotion. They become masters of silence until silence eats them alive. Once you start looking inward, you see how yesterday still writes today. And that realization isn't punishment, it's power. Because once you see the pattern, you can rewrite it. The work of healing. So, how do you actually do this? Let's not sugarcoat it. Healing isn't a spa day. Healing yourself takes time, energy, focus, discipline. Attempting to understand. Repetition and consistency is key. The process looks like awareness. Naming the pain instead of pretending it's not there. Compassion. Treating your younger self not like a criminal, but like a child who survived. Yet not a child, so also be accountable. Expression. Writing it, speaking it, crying it out, letting the bottled-up pressure escape. Confronting. Integration. Taking that part of you back into the whole, not as a weakness, but as proof of your strength. It's messy. It's slow. Sometimes it feels worse before it feels better. But the alternative, never looking, is to let the past keep driving the car while you sit blindfolded in the passenger seat. The treasure beneath the rubble. Here's the thing most people miss. Under trauma, there's treasure. Resilience. Depth. Empathy. Creativity. People who've faced their pain often emerge not just healed, but transformed. They carry maps to places others are too afraid to go. Think about history's greatest art, music, philosophy. So much of it was born from people who turned inward, wrestled their demons, and came back with gifts to share. Trauma breaks you open, but inside that crack is often light. The journey inward. So, what happens when you look inside yourself? You don't erase the past. You rewrite your relationship with it. You stop running. You stop letting shadows dictate your steps. You reclaim the power you gave away when you buried those wounds. It's not about becoming unscarred. It's about learning that scars are proof you healed, not proof you're broken. Soft, deliberate closing. Most people never do this work. They keep the doors locked. They live haunted. But if you dare, if you choose to pick up the key and walk into the mirror within, you'll discover that the ghosts you fear the most are just fragments of you waiting to finally come home. So I'll ask you this, when you look inside, what do you find waiting? And are you brave enough to stay long enough to listen?